15 minutes. So
okay, good. Hey, folks! Surprise! I know people are saying, "What are Ron and Marcus doing on a Sunday afternoon?" This isn't DroneNation time, but what we're doing here is, as everybody knows, Marcus is a big part of the International Drone Seekers that go live every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what time that is in Europe or whatever. It's 1 p.m. for you, but they decided to take the day off. I know Steve's become some sort of a TV sensation or whatever, so he's got a lot going on nowadays. So we thought maybe we just come in, fill a little dead air here on a Sunday afternoon. Marcus, what do you have to say about all this?
Well, hey, just goofing off. Yeah, I mean, Steve had a previous commitment, so he's taking the day off from Drone Seekers. So Ron and I just were having a quick conversation. We said, hey, people are expecting a show at 1 p.m. So, at 1 p.m. my time, at least. So yeah, we better throw something up. And we thought of a couple of drone related things conversations that we've recently had that are probably worth talking about.
Big newsworthy things. So this is kind of, like I said, the International Drone Seekers. This could be the U.S. Drone Seekers edition today, right?
This is in honor of the U.S. Drone Seekers. And Ron, we may have another guest here in just a little bit.
I see. And I want to welcome John Coopy into the chat here. John says, breaking news. John, this will be the opposite of breaking news today.
Yeah,
this will be talking over the same old things again here. And John had a great conversation on the Coast to Coast Drones last week about those kind of those new drone laws. It was an acronym for those. Like they kept saying kind of an acronym over and over for the new hobbyist drone law.
Well, there's the trust test, but then there's and they're just suggested rules that the FAA came up with to give to the
hobbies at AMAs and
the clubs, the flying clubs of the world. So
now listen. That was a great conversation Wednesday night. So if you want to hear that conversation, go back and watch the replay of the Coast to Coast Drone Seekers from last week. We will not dive into all that here or whatever, because this is going to be a short show. CBO, thanks, John. Community-based organizations. Thank you, John. So anybody that wants to hear a big conversation, I want them to jump back into that. But listen, I want to jump right into it so we get to it. Last week, I made a video with the Air 2S. It recently got a firmware update. I don't know, .02, .04, and I forget the last four numbers, but it just came out about a week ago. And I did a test flight on it, and the test flight went fairly well, except at one point, I tried to show people how to zoom in the video, Marcus, and I was not able to get the zoom working. So, I thought it was just user error on my part, but I was worried that people would think that this firmware update broke the zoom, which I didn't think it did. But so I talked to you about it, and you advised me that the zoom feature only did not work in 5.4K or 60 frames per second. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. Yeah.
So then I in my video, which I don't have a link here, sorry, but on my feed, it's my most recent Air 2S video. So I pinned a comment to the top saying the reason the zoom did not work is because of, I was either in 5.4K or 60 frames per second. Well, somebody responded right away and said, no, you could clearly see on your screen you were in 4K 30. So I thought, I scratched my head. I wrote down, the mystery continues. So I was on my phone or something at that point, and Marcus was out at the races that day, so I couldn't get a hold of him again. He was at the Corvette races at the local track. And he did really good that day, too. He's going to tell you about in a second. But anyhow, so I finally got the Air 2S out and put it on the desktop right here. And I fired up and whatever, and I still had no zoom. So I said, let me go in the camera settings. Something must be, clicked off in the settings. I don't have zoom. So you know what? I think it was the second thing down. I saw it was in D-Log. So I flipped it over from D-Log to normal color settings. Boom. the zoom popped right back up, right beside the record button, the right-hand screen. I had the autofocus, manual focus button, and as soon as I put it back to normal color profile, the 1X button appeared right before the autofocus button, so it was back again. So then I went back in just to make sure, put it back to D-Log, and it disappeared. So problem solved. And also, if you put it at, is it HLG? Is that the other color profile, Marcus? The ones between D-Log and normal? Do I have the letters right? Anyhow, it doesn't work in that either. No zoom in that. So what do you think of all this mess, Marcus?
Well, I think it's great that you stumbled on to that, because when you called me that day, I knew about the 5.4K and the 60 frames per second. They made that pretty clear that you couldn't zoom, but I did not know about the D-Log. Now, if that's in the manual or something, I evidently missed it. But that's good to know, and it's great that you've shown that to the community, because like you, I would have been confused. Hey, and John Coopy is bringing up some stuff here that John, we're going to get into that in a little bit. We thought about that whole Hubson thing.
And look, we got our buddy Ross in here from down under in Australia.
Yeah.
Good day, mate.
Yep. Glad you're in, Ross.
This is now we've got kind of international drone seekers going on, right? You can't get any more international Australia. That's probably what, halfway around the world even from Idaho, right?
At least. At least.
His brother from New Jersey, so
yeah.
So welcome in. John says he loves his Mavic Air 2. Yep, I mean I totally agree. The first Mavic Air 2 is still a great drone, and I don't think the Air 2S is necessarily a must update. But you know, Ken Dono did a review recently, like a 3 months long-term review of the Air 2S. You know what he mentioned? I kind of forgot about, Marcus, that the gimbal on the S model is more robust gimbal, more metal, and the Air 2 gimbal is a little more plasticky and not quite as robust in the wind.
Well, and if you'll remember when we first got the original Air 2, you remember we had some gimbal problems with it. You remember it would move around a little bit in sport mode. So I think it's something that DJI went back in and they resolved some of those problems. But the Air 2S has literally had none of that. So that's good.
Hey, I want to welcome Gary Bauer in with us. Is he a normal person in the National Drone Seekers chat?
Yeah, Jerry is.
I recognize the name. Yeah.
He's from Canada, so
from Canada. Okay, well that's kind of international, I guess. But to us folks in the U.S., Canada just like sometimes just a hop, skip, and jump across the border, right?
Well, it's going to be pretty soon because they're opening the border back up, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah, good. So hopefully our buddy Lauren can come down to spin up in Texas. Hey, John says, any new tech on the way? Well, John, I mean. The Hubson Xeno Mini Pro is perpetually new tech on the way, whatever. But actually, it's kind of old news here. But I'm kind of getting excited over these rumors of Osmo Action 2 with all the 8K and the 60 frames per second. Not that I care about 8K, but I'm kind of excited that it looks like DJI is going to go right back into the action market and going hard.
Yeah, we kind of expected that, and we talked about this the other day, Ron. I'm hoping that
talk about what you think would be the killer feature for this Action 2.
Yeah.
That little the wireless mic that's on the pocket, right?
Wireless mic would be awesome. At least for me, it's just one more less step that I'd have to go through in my workflow, so that would be good. Insta360 Go-To, John, I actually use that. I got some video coming out when I was out at the drag strip with my Corvette. I actually used that to get some footage out there. So
cool. Can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Evidently, I did not have it in Pro video, Ron. So, and the horizon got kind of weird on it a couple of times, which I think that's the software in the camera, because it can be in any, you can turn it around any way you want. And so the camera has to figure out what it thinks is the right way to have the horizon. So I can see how that would be some pretty interesting software to have to figure all that out. But in any case, that's coming. I also wanted to mention that Ross has had some experience now with the FIMI X8 Mini, and he's kind of experienced some of the same issues that you and I did, Ron. So
wow. Hey, I want to welcome in DVF1. He's talking about what happened to the V-copter. The V-copter is apparently on the way, DFV. And also I want to welcome in the Borders Drone Seekers, who are regulars in the Drone Seekers chat.
That's Brian. Yeah, he's from the Borders area of Scotland. So
okay, from good old Scotland. Hey, while we got somebody in here from the UK, Marcus, you kind of found Stonehenge, which is a big I'm going to go landmark in the UK. I don't know what part of the UK the Stonehenge is in over there, but you found a smaller version of it in Washington. And for our international audience, I don't mean the Washington, D.C. area. I mean the West Coast state of Washington. And you got some great drone video, but you saw my comment. I got on you a little bit about it. When you couldn't get too close to it because you had the people, and you did a good job of not flying everybody, baby. But why don't you do a walkthrough with your GoPro in the ground and get some nice B-roll, Marcus?
I absolutely should have, Ron. I don't know why I didn't do that. You know what? I bet you I know why. Because the darn drone attacked me in the wind. I was just holding the drone, and the propeller's spinning in the wind. I cut the heck out of my finger.
I know Sarah was very concerned about you being up there in that wind.
She was. So Sarah was very concerned about the drone, of course. But the drone, really, it handled perfectly. It was really high winds, as you could see in that video, but you wouldn't have known it from the video we captured with the drone. It was
Now I have some experience along the Columbia River Gorge too, and it can be very gusty, windy around that gorge. So what you dealt with there, Marcus, isn't unusual.
Yeah. Hey, I want to welcome Johnny Drone Flyer. So Johnny,
Johnny back from vacation. He was in Alabama at the lake for a couple weeks there, relaxing. And Blind Neil just joined us, but I have even a bigger announcement here. All the way from, I don't know what town she lives in Spain. I know Sean's town because he says it in every video. But Jacky's always on an adventure, so she's probably never really in her hometown much. So we're going to ask her what her hometown is as soon as she gets on here. There she is, all the way from... Jacky, what's the name of your town in Spain?
Murcia.
I've heard Sean say Murcia before. He always says the Murcia region, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's Murcia. And then my nearest town, well, I'm at the resort called La Torre, and my nearest town is Torre Pacheco.
But Jacky, when you say Murcia, now if you're really a true southern Spain, you do it with a little bit of a lisp, right?
I have to say Murcia,
right? Yeah. You got to know how the locals do it. Yeah.
I tell you, I can't wait for this whole COVID mess to be over. I'd love Marcus and I to come over there and visit you guys. You take us out to all the places you show. You go in the videos, you and Terry and the crew or whatever.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That'd be wicked.
Alma Dennis Canyon, the canyon, the mines for sure.
Those mines, yeah.
Yeah, the Mazarin mines are pretty special, definitely.
Yeah. What's the lighthouse?
Oh, yeah, that's Cabo de Palos. That's lovely.
Yeah.
And then you've got Pedrera Reservoir, the big blue reservoir. That's nearer to Terry. Yeah, there's so much to visit out here. It's really good. But I haven't got my phone with me, so I can't say hello to everyone in the chat.
Well, if anybody says hello, John Coopy says hi, Jacky. Borders Drone Seeker says hi, Jacky. Johnny Drone Flyer says hi, Jacky. DeMarco Borges joined us. DeMarco's from he's in Arkansas right now. He's from Chicago, but he lives in Arkansas. So we were just covering a few topics, jumping all over the map here before you joined us. Is there anything you would like to talk about tonight that maybe you were going to say on the International Drone Show?
I have heard a little story that the Skydio 2 is now available outside of the US, but it's not quite in Europe yet. I've heard that it's available in New Zealand and Australia.
Australia, New Zealand, and Australia.
That's probably as far away from you as Marcus is in this place.
It's still not a lot of use to me, but
well, if you don't have one by the time Marcus and I visit, we could always kind of smuggle one through customs for you, right?
Yeah, there you go.
we could make it look like it's I don't know what, like a hair, a crock pot or something like that. It's actually Skydio in there.
Okay.
Are crock pots called the same thing in England as they are in the US? Some things don't translate. Sometimes we don't say things the same for the same item.
I don't know. Is that some kind of cooking?
It's a slow cooker. It's just
slow
a
cooker.
Slow cooker. Okay.
Slow
Yeah,
cooker.
I thought I was going to say a totally American term nobody would know outside of the US.
Well, I have heard of crock pot. Yeah, I have heard of it. So,
okay.
Yeah. That's big. I don't care how you smuggle it in. But, well, not like you'd smuggle. Yeah, we don't.
Understood.
Yeah.
But yeah, bring on.
Hey, but so the whole point of this pop-up is that, about probably at a quarter till the time that we would normally start the Drone Seeker show, Ron and I were talking, and we thought, well, people are expecting a show, so we ought to just throw one up real quick. And
find us.
Yeah. What the heck? So and
so what, have you both been out flying this week?
Marcus just returned from vacation. He was at Stonehenge, Jacky.
I know. I saw the pictures.
He got his own Stonehenge in Washington. Have you been to the real Stonehenge, Jacky?
I have, yes.
Now, what part of the UK is that in?
Oh, it's down at the bottom somewhere. I can't remember.
Okay, down the bottom
yeah,
coast.
Yeah. But when I went, it's all fenced round, so you can't walk among the stones now. They're sort of protected from people gouging graffiti into them. But when my dad went in 1963, that I showed you some photos, didn't I?
Yep.
You could walk in among them and have your picture taken and everything. So, wow. Wiltshire. That's what it is.
Yeah, okay, you can see it now. Yeah, I don't think I know Wiltshire. Is that a densely populated area?
South of England, so yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah.
There's lots of nice countryside there too, though.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure you absolutely cannot fly a drone over them, right?
I don't. Well, I think with National Trust stuff, if you take off outside, you can, but you can't take off inside.
Yeah, kind of like our national parks here. Our national parks, you cannot take off inside.
Yeah,
if you took off outside park, you could probably sneak across and grab a few shots.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill Renee's talking about the crock pot or whatever. We'll have to call this the crock pot show.
The crock pot show. Hey, I see Casey Steck. Casey Steck just joined us.
Hello, Casey.
John
Brettenham.
Yeah.
He's the one that let us know about Stonehenge being in Wiltshire.
Wiltshire, yeah.
My name's correct.
I think he's left the T out. I think it's Wiltshire.
Because you give us the proper pronunciation. I don't want any.
Well, I can tell you in the U.S., if you're in California and L.A., it's just Wilshire Boulevard. But anyway.
I might be wrong.
Hey, no. Hey, but I wanted to mention, Ron, I ran into Casey Steck yesterday at a car show in Kuhn, Idaho.
Get out of here.
My Corvette, and Casey walks up and introduces himself to me. So it was nice to see you, Casey.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you get any video of the meeting, Marcus?
No, we just shot the breeze a little bit about Corvettes and drones. That was about it. So to answer your question, Jacky, your question about flying, honestly, the only flying I've been doing is in the Corvette. I was out at the Club Challenge Drag Race Series, Did an 11.82 quarter mile at 119 miles an hour with that baby in 100-degree heat.
Pretty much flying. We'll give
Pretty
you
much.
that.
Yeah, it was fun.
And you use your Insta 360 Go to record a little video. Is that correct, Marcus?
Yeah. So this is interesting. So that Insta 360 Go, and it has a little one of those kind of sticky mounts that's just a temporary sticky, right? And you always wonder, okay, how well is that going to hold? I put that up on the windshield and it held perfectly. And let me tell you, that's a violent launch. When you're launching off the line with that car, it is violent, and it held perfect.
Wow. Ron, if I ever go to America, remind me not to get a lift anywhere with Marcus.
Hey, it's fun, Jacky.
I'll be there.
Hey, getting in the car with Marcus
is like recording it.
Getting in the car with Marcus would be like that scene in. Are you familiar with the movie Ford versus Ferrari, Jacky? It was a big. Anyhow, the scene where Henry Ford gets in the car with Matt Damon. And Damon like really lets he gives the car everything it's got, and Henry Ford almost like passes out in the passenger seat. Yeah. And Henry Ford said, "I didn't know it could do that."
Someone said you're going to star in the Fast and the Furious 10, Marcus.
Yeah, Akaracha says that.
Revenge of the Chevy Corvette.
Excellent.
Hey, Sean Oz joined us. Hey guys, sitting on a flight on United headed to Vegas. Oh yeah, he said he's going to Vegas with his son. Jacky, are you familiar with World of Oz? Sean Oliver. He's he lives in a ski community in Colorado.
Dillon, Colorado.
And you would love his stuff. He does he's like you. He does amazing stuff with 360 cameras and action cameras and whatever, as well as good drone content too. But he does tremendous, content with 360, snowboarding down mountains and everything.
Sounds like a channel I need to subscribe to.
Hey, Sean, we found you a new subscriber, Jacky. Yes. Jacky's going to subscribe.
After the show, yeah, I'm looking you up.
And sub Jacky back so you may get some ideas for your 360 videos. Jacky's not going down the mountains in snow, but she's going down in bicycles and whatnot, hiking up and down them with 360 cams. I love the way Jacky. I love the way you do shots where you you come in with you may be staying on the side of the mountain, you come in with a drone, then you go to the 360 view, whatever. You kind of meld all that stuff together in quick shots, almost as good as anybody I follow on YouTube.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you very much.
No, I mean it. Like I keep sitting there thinking, I wish I could do something like that, and I could think it out in my head, but when I get in the field to actually piece it all together, it always falls apart on me.
Oh, you see, that's where you're going wrong. I reckon don't plan. I don't plan my videos at all. I just go out, film everything, and then I come home, and the story just evolves for me.
Right.
Happens.
Right.
Well, that's the point that Terry made last week. He said, he goes out on an adventure with you and, you're filming this and that. And then all of a sudden you put out a video and it's a story that he didn't even think of, that you're really telling the story of that. Yeah, I
guess everyone has their different way of doing it. I mean, I know he sometimes goes out to places and then he thinks afterwards, oh, I should have done this, should have done that. So then he'll go back and he'll get the shots he wants and then he'll build his story that way. But I don't know, mine just sort of evolve usually into a bit of craziness, as you well know. But
yeah.
But back to answer Jacky's question, I've been flying the Air 2S a couple times this week because it just got new firmware recently that added a few minor things. But watch the beginning of the show, though. I won't bore the audience again. But I had a problem getting the zoom working on it, whatever. And it turns out that I had the camera in D-Log rather than normal profile, and the zoom didn't work on anything but the normal color profile. So it had nothing to do with the firmware. The firmware just
had to have it in the right mode, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you just couldn't have it in the D-Log mode or whatever. You had to have it in normal color profile.
But I mean, it work in both modes.
No. So if you want D-Log, you can't have the zoom. I guess because it's all digital zoom, the D-Log probably puts more, takes more, from the processor. It doesn't have enough to do the zooming. And that's just me saying that. I don't know if that's technically correct or not. That folks, it's all Ron Brown theory. This is not based in any fact whatsoever. But I'll tell you, one of the interesting things this update added to the Air 2S is that, and I haven't tested this yet because it's too soon, but it takes the battery discharge, which I guess usually was between 3 and 5 days, and it jumped up between 5 and 9 days that the batteries automatically discharge on their own.
Oh, so you've got longer to go out. If you don't make it, you can go out the next day and you won't have dead battery.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting about that is often, I'll charge the batteries and something will happen, and it may be like a week later before I go out and fly, and it'll be kind of nice to have those batteries still fully charged a week later. And no doubt that DJI understands how long they can be charged without actually damaging the batteries. So,
over the long term. Yeah. And also it added the trim video feature, which I think was on the Mini, or at least the Mini 2, where what you could do is you can go into the DJI app and go to the photo editing part, or the photo section, and you could trim a video down in the app, so that when you move it to your computer, say you took a 20-minute video, but the first 10 minutes are rubbish, say you were just hovering the drone or something like that, you could trim that rubbish part of the video off before you send it over to your computer or your iPad or whatever you're going to do the edit, so you have a smaller video file to send over.
Yeah, nice one.
So you as an editor, you would understand to do that.
Someone in the comments has just said on the Go 4 app, you could choose how many days you wanted before your battery's auto discharged.
You could. That's Sean. Yeah. I remember that.
You could. Yeah. No, I think I mentioned that.
It doesn't do it now.
It doesn't.
Jack, you have a Mavic what? Mavic Pro
Platinum.
Yeah. So you probably still have that feature.
Oh, I'll have to have a look.
Because you're using the Go 4. It's in there. It's buried somewhere in the settings, but I remember that.
Oh, cool. Not that it matters. I just put mine on charge overnight the night before I go out.
Yeah.
Which apparently you're not supposed to do, but
yeah, but you know how sometimes though, Jackie, you know how you fly at the spur of the moment, you don't think you're going to fly, but somebody calls you up or whatever, or even the wife says, "Hey, the world's greatest sunset's going on out there," and you're grabbing the drone real fast, and you're praying that you have a little charge in the battery or something like that. So it is good to have. Yeah.
Stuff like, oh no, I can't come. I haven't charged my batteries.
So most of the U.S. has been in a terrible heat wave this summer, including markets has been in the hundreds. How has the weather in southern Spain been this summer?
It's 35 degrees sort of at the minute, which is probably just under 100 for you guys.
Muy caliente.
Sí, hace calor.
Hot stuff.
Yeah. It's a bit hot.
Yeah.
But it's holiday season, it's busy. It's nice to see the place busy and sort of getting back to normal after the last year of.
Now Spain's completely opened up again to tourism.
Yeah, it's opened up again now. There's still quite a lot of rules in place. If you go in any shops or whatever, you still have to wear your mask, which is a good thing, and that. But you don't have to wear it outside now, which is a relief because that was getting very hot.
Right.
Well, especially if you're on your bicycle too, right? You're huffing and puffing, and yeah.
Yeah, you don't want a mask when you're doing sports, do you?
Yeah.
We don't have to wear them in stores here anymore, but we still have to wear them when we go to the doctor's office. So not last week, but the week before, I had my stress test, so I had to run on the treadmill with a mask on. I could barely breathe, Jackie, by the time that thing was over. Oh yeah, I mean, I was sucking air real hard, and the doctors in the back said, "Just give me another minute or whatever." I mean, I literally, it took me almost 5 minutes afterwards to get my breathing like back to normal again after this.
Did he give you a full bill of fit health?
Yeah, oh yeah, I got a clean bill of health. I had a heart stent in, so I have to get this done. Every 2 years or whatever. Yeah,
like an MOT, is it?
Yeah, just exactly. Yeah.
Sure
so Ron probably doesn't know what an MOT is. You better explain.
Yeah, I know. It sounds bad though.
No, it's in the UK. You have to have an MOT on your car every year to make sure it's roadworthy. So
we have car inspections in New Jersey. We have mandatory car inspections every couple of years or something like that.
Not in Idaho. In Idaho, that thing could be
you can drive anything.
There could be parts falling off on the road. You're good.
So it's not like you don't have something across the whole of America. Each state has its own rules. Is that right then?
Yeah, correct.
Basically, almost every state kind of is its own little country in a lot of ways. I mean, you got to pay tax wherever you are or whatever. Well, you pay federal tax, and each state has its own tax, whatever. But kind of each state, kind of its own little country, almost, right, Marcus?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, sort of. I definitely put California in that category. But yeah.
Hey, Jack, I never got to check in with you. I know the Drone Seekers took off a couple weeks ago because you had a big football match with another country. Now, how did that go?
Oh, Italy won.
You would have to ask, wouldn't you, Ron?
Yeah.
Holy cow!
But did you have a good showing? They played hard, or
it went down to penalties, which isn't what they like to see if you're a football fan. But I think it's quite exciting if you win on penalties. But obviously, if you lose on penalties, it's very disappointing.
Well, in our American football, there's a lot of penalty flags also.
I don't get American football. They all just seem to bang into each other and stop for a cuddle. I mean, what's that all about?
Well, but you have rugby, right?
You're supposed to be kicking the ball and stuff.
You have rugby, right?
Yeah, that's just the same, isn't it?
Rugby's kind of similar, right?
Yeah, except they do it without padding because they're a bit more,
Yeah, but if you look at the American guys, they're a little bit bigger, though. You ever see You ever see the size of the American football players?
Yeah, they're pretty big guys, aren't they?
There's a couple of rugby guys have actually come to try it out in the NFL, but I don't think any of them ever made it.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Don't they, I suppose.
Yeah.
But, I don't get either rugby or American football, to be honest. But when I did come to America, I went to a baseball game and I thought it was brilliant.
Baseball is fun, especially baseball is fun to watch in person. Yeah,
well, we went and watched the athletics, Oakland.
Oh, Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, that's it.
You went to Oakland?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember.
Boy.
I would remember.
Oakland's one of those cities. Like I remember one time I was in California, and Susan was saying, well, we could go take this highway right through Oakland. I said, I'll drive 2 miles out of the way to avoid going through Oakland.
Yeah, no, we went straight in. It was fine. We went by train.
Yeah, sometimes when you fly from the East Coast, if you're going to San Francisco, you can land in Oakland. I said, no, we're not landing in Oakland.
Hey, Ron. So Jacky has been through a lot of those parks in southern Utah and in northern Arizona, but that was pre-drone days, right, Jacky?
I got to do
it. It was pre-drone days for me too.
Yeah, I'd love to do that again.
Where were you? Were you at Monument Valley or Arches or Canyon?
Yeah, I did Monument Valley. Did the Grand Canyon. We did the Hoover Dam. We did quite a lot of California as well. It was really good.
That must have been a great trip.
It was. It was we did it.
Especially somebody coming from England where you don't have that type of scenery.
Yeah, no, it's just everything is very, very big in America.
Well, Spain, where you are in Spain looks more like the Western U.S. than England, right?
Yeah, I'd say it does. Yeah.
Probably if you'd have been in the East Coast of the U.S., that would have looked more like England to you.
Right.
No,
I like big rocks and barren landscapes and deserts, and absolutely love cactus.
Oh wow!
So it's just my idea of heaven. We went to Phoenix. We played golf in Phoenix, and Yeah, had a good time there. Very nice place.
Yeah, serious heat down there too. My brother lives in Tempe, Arizona, which is right next to Phoenix, and OMG.
Oh yeah, it was hot.
Oh,
Oh, we went to Death Valley as well. Cool,
Oh
that
wow.
was hot. I got out of the car, I walked around for about 5 minutes taking photos, and I said, I've got to get back in the car and put the aircon on. I can't cope with this.
they just set a record in Death Valley at the Furnace Creek Center, they call it. 130 degrees, 130 Fahrenheit. I don't know what that would be in centigrade. I'll figure it out.
Blooming hot. 130. That's off the scale. That.
Lon's giving me a hard time to chat for my comments about Oakland or whatever. So anybody that lives in the Oakland area, I take it back. I didn't mean anything bad about Oakland. What do you call it? My views don't represent this show in any way.
No, I like the Oakland Athletics. Do you know the best thing I thought about that baseball match was I loved the way that all the supporters are all mixed up. And you're all just cheering the sport, and you're
yeah. It's not everybody on one side or the other. Sure.
Yeah, no. In the UK, when it's like football, it's very much them and us, and
now you have cricket in the US. You have cricket in England, don't you?
Yeah, that's nicer atmosphere as well. Yeah, cricket's like that.
And cricket's somewhat like baseball. Marcus got lunch.
She even packaged.
Hi, Sarah.
Yeah, he even got it like so he can wait a while to eat it. So,
so that must mean it's nearly 2 o'clock there, mustn't it?
Yeah.
See, I know now. I know how to work that time.
Now, Jacky, what time is it in Mercer?
It's nearly 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. So you've had dinner. You're getting ready for bed.
Yeah, well, nearly.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah. Winding down.
Hey, so Ron, you talked about flying a little bit. I mean, we might as well talk about drones.
Sorry, folks. Sorry, folks. I didn't mean to be talking about cricket and all this other stuff.
When I got back from our vacation, I decided to try out the Fimi X8 Mini again because I had some troubles with it on my last flight with it.
Really? So, I would have never thought.
Who would have thought with that drone? So I took it to the little park next door to me over here and took it up, and it did pretty good. And then all of a sudden, that gimbal just went crazy and just had a mind of its own. So you're flying it this way, but the gimbal could be looking that way. I mean, it's amazing.
So you're not really rating the Fimi much then.
That's my third one. That's my third
you're
one.
trying to like it, I think, but
I really wanted to like that drone, but they're making it tough. They're making it really hard.
So out of all the little mini drones, you've got the DJI Mini 2. You've got the what's the other one? There's another one as well as the Fimi, isn't there?
Well, there's a Hubsan Mini that we've all ordered. I'm glad you brought that up. There's some news on that. But it hasn't been shipped yet, Jacky, and it's got the specs on it. If it's everything they say it is, it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
But nobody's seen one yet. So how do we know?
Well, they actually did release that. They released that promo video, Marcus.
That's true.
It was a promo video. You don't see it flying yet, but in the promo video, they show it off a lot. It kind of looks somewhat. Marcus, do you say it looks a lot like a DJI drone?
Yeah, it does. And originally it was supposed to ship on I don't know, the 1st of June or whatever. They've been pushing that date out. And our friend Lauren Donauer up in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. He is associated with a drone shop up there. Hubsan talked his drone shop into taking on Hubsan products. And so they ordered a bunch of those minis, and they've been pushing that date. So the latest thing was their representative promised them that they would have those drones on the shelf in their store by July 30th. And Lauren emailed me yesterday or messaged me yesterday and said, you know what, they were a no-show. So
yeah, the new date's August 10th now, according to the rumor mill, Jackie.
August the 10th. All right. Okay. So not too long.
If this little mini drone actually shows up, I mean, for a mini drone, it's going to have what, because we've seen the FCC, which is some big body in the U.S. that governs and stuff. They've given that to them, and they've seen the diagram. It has optical avoidance in the front, the back, and of course the bottom optical.
It's a mini. Wow.
Yeah. So
cool.
That's kind of this type of drone.
My perfect drone, right? It's a Skydio 2 Mini FPV.
Oh,
I just need someone to make it for me now.
Well, we could be getting there, Jackie. I mean, I get your point, and I think that these smaller drones are part of the future, and I think they're going to keep improving them. So, while I know you were kind of saying that a little bit in jest, don't be surprised if in the next
that's what I want. That's what I'm holding out for.
Yeah. Well, we could see something like that.
Hope so. That'd be really cool. Do everything then, wouldn't it?
Well,
go ahead, Marcus.
Well, I was just going to say, Jackie and I have had this conversation a lot. The kind of things that she does where she's climbing mountains and she's out on the bike and all that. So portability is really important. And being able to have that ability for it to track you. Yeah. Because you're focused on whatever, climbing that mountain or whatever. And you're just, if the drone could get that shot while you're doing what you're doing,
that would be perfect.
Yeah.
That would be good. I mean, God knows I get my platypus, poor old Platinum, to try and do all those things. But
well,
it would be better if I could have a Skydio Mini FPV.
I absolutely understand. I'm going to embarrass you a little bit right now, Jackie, because we've known each other for a while, and I've watched your drone footage, over a period of time, and you've always been great with the drone. But now you're getting epic. I mean, you're getting some just no, and I'm just being honest with you. Some of the drone shots they're as good as any videographer out there. You're getting really good with that.
And you just proved the point that you don't need the latest greatest super drone to get good shots.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more it's as much a skill of the operator as it is the drone specs.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about learning. I mean, my God, I love the YouTube drone community. It's just, you meet so many wonderful people that you can then count as friends, and you can learn from them, and you can watch other people's videos. And, if you look back at my videos that I started 3 years ago to the ones I make now, I can see the progress I've made. So
that goes for all of us. Yeah, exactly. And like you said, I think the point that you made, that we all learn from each other, is absolutely true. Yeah.
I mean, to Gary's comment here, Jack, if you lived in the U.S. rather than Spain, and you were on all the shows and you got exposure, whatever, you could be the next Billy Kyle, or you could be one of the big channels. If you lived over here when you were all these shows, you were getting all this exposure. I mean, you just don't get enough exposure. Like, people just don't. I don't know what it takes, because I'm no big. You got to catch some kind of wave or whatever.
Strange, isn't it? It's a strange thing.
Content's there, but you just can't get that wave to get it up to the top of YouTube.
Yeah. Well, never mind. It's fun regardless.
That's a great point. So we don't want to lose that.
I do it for fun.
To be successful on YouTube, you have to enjoy it, and it is. And if it wasn't fun, I wouldn't still be doing it. And I know Ron the same way.
You got to put something out you're pleased with, haven't you?
Yeah. And what'll happen, Jackie? I'll just make a little prediction right now. Is you're going to make a video one of these days that's just going to catch the algorithm just right, and it'll get a bunch of views, and then you'll get a big wave of subscribers, and it'll really start taking off. No, I mean, that's how it works. I mean, and the thing is, you just don't know what it is about that YouTube algorithm that happens to capture it. And if YouTube starts recommending your video, then it really takes off. And I agree with what Brian just said there, that Ron posted at the bottom of the screen.
Borders Jones.
Yeah. He's just saying we're all learning from Jacky. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Bill says to link Jacky's channel, but I'm the worst one. I'll be gone for 5 minutes if I go look for Jacky's channel.
I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna do it right now. So you guys keep talking.
Yeah, I'm the world's worst producer. What do you have there? A refreshing glass of tea there, Jacky?
No, it's a big old jug of squash.
Oh. Do you drink cold? I know you're from England. I need to drink tea. Do you drink cold tea like we do in the U.S., or you only drink it hot?
The British love tea. They love it, but
even cold tea. Cold tea like we do.
I don't like tea or coffee.
Okay. So do you drink coffee or just tea?
Me, no, I don't drink none of it.
Okay.
Squash. That's all I drink.
Right.
I told you I was weird.
Okay. Sam just subbed Jacky's channel. That's Sammy Burns. Sammy Burns. Guess what? Sammy Burns. He started with camera drones. He went to FPV. Now he even has his wife flying FPV.
Excellent. Good one, Rose.
So
girls.
He's subbed up.
Okay, here I just put here's Jacky's link. I just put it in the chat there.
I see it just came up. The recovery drone says you're a very healthy person, Jacky.
I don't know about that.
The healthiest person in Spain.
Hey, so that's a good question. So, Jacky, I know every day you post how many miles or how many kilometers you've ridden on your bike, you and Craig.
Every other day. Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. So that was my question: is how often do you ride, and do you have a set distance that you try and go? Or?
And let me throw one more question: what kind of bike do you have along with that? Also, throw that in with the questions.
Oh, I've got well, we started off with mountain bikes, and they're hard work. Then we went to racing bikes, and now I've got a gravel bike because I still like riding on the rough terrain as well. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, we try and go out every sort of Monday, Wednesday, Friday for a little ride, and we're just building up our distances and building up our fitness, which is good. It was a bit of a struggle at the start, and then I've just got fitter and fitter, which is really good. So I still can't keep up with Craig though.
Wow, but typically you always sometimes you'll make a whole video out of it, and then other times it's just a picture or two, right?
Yeah. It's quite hard filming when you're cycling. There's to make a film of it that's interesting. It's quite a challenge. It's much easier to do a drone movie or a hiking movie than a biking movie, I found.
Yeah.
So still learning on that one.
Hey, our friend Matt Conduct, he says he was out flying. He didn't realize we were live. Hey, Matty, this isn't a usual show. We're just kind of filling in for the International Drone Seekers, which are on hiatus today. But we did get the star of the International Drone Seekers to join us.
Hey,
we're probably going to pay Steve for letting her come on the show.
Yeah.
How much was I worth?
Steve's probably got her under an exclusive contract.
$7. Yes.
Hey, okay, Ron. This is not nearly on the level that our friend Terry Hawes does.
Oh, you got a joke today?
Yeah, just a real quick one, and I'm going to be honest with you. I searched the internet for this, and it's kind of European, so I think it works out pretty good.
Can you hum that music that they play before Terry's joke, Jacky?
No.
Yeah,
okay. No. I know it was a stretch.
Okay, so what's the best thing about Switzerland? I don't know, but the flag is a big plus.
Anyway.
There you go.
I'll never be able to fill in for Terry.
No Terry Hawes.
Yeah.
Hey, what was that? What was that one? The last time, maybe it wasn't the last time I was on International Drone Seekers, but when I was on International Drone Seekers one time, you and Terry were trying to explain to how you got your European flying certificate or whatever, and you kept saying you had to do it through some country in Europe. What was that like? Luxembourg. Yeah, you had to. It had to go through Luxembourg, and I kept laughing. Luxembourg, and then Terry said he'd actually been to Luxembourg.
Yeah, it's a bit
Terry's been every place.
But apparently, if you can do it in each European country, but Luxembourg was the only place where you could do it, or that we found that you could do it in English. So that gave us the advantage.
Okay.
Although we're learning Spanish, not quite good enough to do a test in it yet, I don't think.
Right.
Well, Spanish is a hard language to learn because you know, there's just a lot to it. I mean, the same word can mean 3 different things. I suppose English is the same way, but yeah.
Yeah, it's all the masculine and feminine stuff that gets me. It's so confusing. But yeah.
Hey, so let me ask you, Jacky, if you're out in public, let's just say you're at a restaurant and you're ordering, and you use the wrong masculine or feminine word, do they laugh at you?
No, they just it's funny because a lot of the Spanish here, bless them, they're desperate to learn English. So as soon as you walk in and they twig your English, they want to talk to you in English. But I want to practice my Spanish, so like I talk to them in Spanish and they talk back in English. But 1 or 2 of them will correct you if you make a really bad mistake. But yeah, no, they tend to let it go. But I'm learning from my Spanish teacher online. I mean,
well, you kind of want to be corrected,
on every mistake. She's brilliant, so I'm getting there.
Cool.
Hey, Robbie RC got a comment for you, Jacky.
Do it in Northern Ireland. That's free. Yeah, but I don't think it's recognised in Spain. That was the trouble.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure, but anyway, the guys figured out that the Luxembourg one was so.
And Robbie's in Belgium.
Oh, you pay for it? Oh, all right.
Interesting.
Now, Jacky, we just got some new drone rules and regulations for hobbyists last week, didn't we, Marcus?
We did.
Oh,
well,
are they?
God, they just keep dumping stuff. What it is, it's not really rules. The FAA is making suggestions to community-based organizations, and if you fly with a hobby license, you're supposed to follow the rules of a community-based organization. The rub is that all these regs that they come up with, I think it's an 18-page long document, and I just think that puts a lot of people off.
Yeah, that sounds a bit heavy to wade through, doesn't it?
To dig through all of that, and but we had another.
Luckily, it's all in English, though, Jacky.
Yeah. Well, but we had Flight Path. Aldrin Estacio was saying, he made a good point, and he said, they sell so many Mavic Minis. Stores like Costco sell thousands of them. How many of those people you think are wading through all those regs? Probably not very many. So,
not many.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing is, once you did the online training, the Luxembourg thing, you then have to register your drone in the country where you're resident. So that bit we did have to do in Spain in Spanish, and that was pretty heavy going.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
but it shouldn't be, but it was.
Yeah. Hey, Maddie's got to run. Hey, thanks for popping in, Maddie. Maddie's down at the beach trying to fly. He's trying to learn FPV drone with a little whoop, but he said it's a little bit windy down at the beach. So, yeah. And there's those little whoops or whatever. Even if you've got a brush one, it's still they're still rough in the wind.
Hey, Ron, we're coming up at the top of the hour, and Steve always holds it to an hour. So
we can't afford Jacky for more than an hour. We have to pay him for 2 hours. It's going to break the budget around here.
$7, haven't you?
So, Mark is a good point. Jacky, is there anything you want to close the show out with? Any comments or tips or anything? You got any upcoming videos?
No, because I've been busy working. So I am going out Tuesday though with Terry. So we'll be out flying somewhere interesting. So hopefully a video coming soon.
Content could be coming soon to your channel.
Yes, new content.
Mark, you got anything coming up this week?
Yeah, I've got that video that I took in the Corvette out at the drag strip, and I actually had Sarah was in the stands, and she took some video. I gave her the GoPro, the Hero 9, so she took some video going down the track, and I have a little bit of in-car video. So
you didn't give her your drone then?
I did. It would be illegal to fly over cars, Jacky.
Unless you got a waiver.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what Sarah is becoming. She's getting pretty handy with that GoPro. And so, like, when we were on vacation, instead of taking my tripod with me like I would normally do.
I did notice, actually, she held it very steady.
Yeah.
Jacky, do you have a GoPro?
Yeah. Of course I do.
I never know because sometimes the 360 cameras, like my 360, can also be a GoPro or whatever.
Yeah,
You're using different ones. Okay. What GoPro do you have? What GoPro do you have?
I've got the GoPro Hero 8, and I've also got an old one, a GoPro Hero 3, which I sometimes just switch on, dump it on the ground, and leave it filming me going up the hill. Because if it gets nicked or damaged or whatever, I don't really care.
Right. Good idea. Good idea. So, okay, well, we were looking for that car video coming up. Car and it's a 360 Go video and GoPro video coming up for your channel. And I'm working on now. I'm going to release a follow-up video on my Air 2S firmware update video where I show what the wrong settings I was in when I couldn't zoom in the other videos. So we will get that all corrected in this video. I did catch a nice sunset there. It was the last sunset of July.
In Margate? Out in Margate?
In Margate City, New Jersey. Yeah, and right in the at Swift Marina in Margate.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
Jacky's been to the real Margate.
You mean Margate? My Margate's not the real Margate?
No.
Sorry, Ron.
No.
He's gonna cry now. Oh no!
Does your Margate have a real good beach like we do?
It does.
Does your Margate have an elephant like we do, Lucy?
No.
I got her, Marcus. You don't have Lucy the elephant.
No, we don't have Lucy the elephant.
She's they call it a road landmark or whatever. She's documented. She's official, road landmark. And on the way out the door here, I do want to say that I've heard from reports that Jacky's probably not aware. They had the Rhode Island drone meetup yesterday in Providence, Rhode Island. They had over 60 people attending. The weather's perfect. There were no drone crashes. Captain Ray Kelly will be on the drone. I was going to call it the Drone Seekers, the DroneNation show Monday night. They give us a full report on it. And Jacky, in case you don't know, Rhode Island's a state in the U.S. It's a very small state. It's one of the smallest states in the Union.
All right. Oh, okay.
But they're on the water. Newport, Rhode Island is a very famous town right on the ocean. Marcus.
Well, before we sign off, I just wanted to remind people to tune in next week at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, and what would that be Spanish time, Jacky?
9 p.m.
9 p.m. for the Drone Seekers show. Drone Seekers International will be back on the air next week.
What time will that be for Steve in England?
8 p.m.
8. And Steve's in what part of England again?
He's in Norfolk, up that way.
I should know this.
Norfolk.
Yeah.
We have Norfolk. I've been in Norfolk, Virginia recently. We have Norfolk here too.
Hey, Ron. One might think that the United States was settled by the British,
right? Or at least stole all their good names, right? Jacky. You know what town I grew up in?
No.
I grew up in Oxford.
Did you?
And guess what? Guess what the next town over for me was called?
Not Cambridge.
Nottingham. And I know the sheriff of Nottingham.
Hey, Ron. So one of the most famous cities in our country is called New York. Get it? It's York, but it's the new one.
It's the new one.
Jacky, you could come to the area where I grew up in Pennsylvania. Almost everything's named after something England. You would think you were back home again. You know, somebody said, "We're going to Nottingham, Jacky."
Really?
Hey, in the Western U.S., it's all Spanish names. You ever been to San Jose?
Oh yeah, of course.
Santa Fe.
Yeah, Santa Fe. Hey, okay, really, Rob.
Yeah, really, folks. I want to thank everybody for popping in here. I know this is unannounced. I know we didn't do a good job of sticking to drones today or whatever. We were all over the map here, but thanks, folks. And Jacky, a special thank you for coming in. You know, you thought you were getting a night off, and we made you work. So, you know. All right, folks. Don't forget Drone Seekers next Sunday. They'll be back. And we'll be live tomorrow night in the U.S. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on DroneNation with Captain Ray Kelly. Good night.
Night.